200 gold medals, 350 silver medals, 800 bronze medals. China's performance in the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics is going to be terrific. Chinese players will be scripting the glorious history of their nation. There will be no stopping the Chinese sportsmen, nothing to stop them from dominating the sporting arena. Not because they will be outperforming their competitors, but because there will be no competitors at all. Why? Because no one is interested in playing games in Beijing except some African nations, Southeast Asian nations, and New Zealand. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Atul Mishra, and in this video I will tell you how the fate of the Winter Olympics to be held in Beijing now hangs in the balance. Let's begin. The Beijing Winter Olympics to be held in the Chinese capital city next year are a major event for the Chinese Communist Party. At a time when the global democratic community is breathing fire down China's neck for its persecution of non-Han Chinese communities and ethnic minorities, not to mention its brutal crackdown on Hong Kong and the constant threat of invading Taiwan, for Xi Jinping, the Winter Olympics is an opportunity to humanize the CCP. The successful conduct of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics is supposed to be a major plank with which Xi Jinping seeks re-selection as the Chinese Communist Party's General Secretary next autumn, and as a consequence becomes China's president for an unprecedented third time. But the democratic world is not willing to extend such favors to Xi Jinping. At least 19 major countries have decided not to sign a truce with China ahead of next year's Winter Olympics. India, the United States, the United Kingdom, Japan, Canada, and even Turkey are among several other nations who have refused to sign the Olympic Truce with China, which is an ancient tradition meant to lead to a cessation of hostilities among warring sides to ensure smooth conduct of the Games. On December 2nd, a resolution titled Building a Peaceful and Better World Through Sport and the Olympic Ideal was adopted and co-sponsored by 173 member states at the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. This resolution called for the observance of the Olympic Truce for the Olympic and Paralympic Games to be held in Beijing in 2022 from 7 days before the start of the Olympic Games on 4th of February 2022 until 7 days after the end of the Paralympic Games. The resolution called on all member states to harness the power of sports to advance the world by fostering an atmosphere of peace, development, resilience, tolerance, and understanding. By not signing the Olympic Truce, India, the US, the UK, Japan, Australia, and others have effectively signaled to China that they are least interested to participate in the Beijing Games, and that even if they do, it will surely be keeping in mind the interests of athletes. The US and Australia are already contemplating a diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics in Beijing. A diplomatic boycott would involve not sending a delegation of officials for the Winter Olympics in February, but allowing athletes to participate. When asked if Australia would impose a diplomatic boycott on the Games, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said on Friday, "We are considering those matters at the moment and working through those issues." Each of the countries that have not signed the Olympic Truce has effectively kept the doors open for boycotting the Games at any time of their choosing. Further, these countries are not bound by any document or truce which would serve as an impediment to them taking on China militarily if the situation so demands, around the time when the Beijing Winter Olympics are on. The fate of the Winter Olympics to be held in Beijing now hangs in the balance. All major countries have refused to sign the Olympic Truce, and Xi Jinping will continue to sweat until the contingents of these countries do not arrive in China for the Games. That in itself is quite a punishment for the man.